to We Talk Facts with 9-year NBA veteran and Nebraska basketball Hall of Famer Erick Strickland to Nebraska football champion Johnson. Talk and taking names in sports and day-to-day living. Sit back, relax, and join the show with 9-year NBA vet and Nebraska basketball Hall of Famer Erick Strickland and two-time Nebraska football national champion Clester Johnson.
Yay, yay, yay. We in the building. If you have not tuned in, you will tune in because it's WTF. Shut your mouth. We Talk Facts. Clester Johnson and E. Strick in the building. First show of WTF. Thank you for joining in. We appreciate those who have tapped in on the day. Sebo, Clester Johnson, the bald head nut is what I call you because you're my guy. What's going on today, man?
I just want to say I'm very happy to be here. I'm glad that finally, synergistically, we've decided to go ahead and put it together. But I want to give a disclaimer.
Okay.
The views expressed here are not of 93.7 The Ticket. This is E. Strick, Clester Johnson.
Uncut.
From our heart, from our passion,
Yeah.
from our desire. We're just going to let it go. We're going to let it flow.
Let it go and let it flow. A lot of stuff to discuss tonight, but tonight's show is going to be a lot about us. You know, just really, we want you to know who we are, where we came from, what our background is, how we got to where we got to, what we've done over the years. We started out together as a 1-2 connection. Those who know, they know. Bellevue West is where it all began for us. Actually, before that, when Clester was at Logan Junior High, and I happened to be at Mission Junior High, but we're both Bellevue boys, and we got there by way of military families. And that's a little bit about us, but I want to know a little bit about you. Tell us how you got to Nebraska. Ultimately, as a young man coming from Memphis, Tennessee, found your way here to Nebraska. And I'm glad I got to know you. And everybody that gets to know you finds out a little bit more about my guy, Sebo.
Well, as a young knucklehead,
Yeah,
out of the mean streets of Memphis, Tennessee, I came from a very strict background. I had a grandmother who had a mean thumb. When the lights came on outside of the neighborhood, you better have your butt in the house.
okay, same.
That's how I was raised. But by no means did I ever could predict myself ever landing here in the state of Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, I had a military family. And a lot of people don't know that my mother passed away when I was young, at 5 years old. I have two older brothers. Shout out to Daryl and Silvo, my two older brothers. Mother passed away. Luckily, I had a family who cared about me. Didn't want to see some orphan brothers, orphan
Yeah,
sons.
it happens. It's real out there.
So grandma took us in. And the cool thing about how I was raised, I was sent every summer. I'd give my grandmother a break, or she'd give herself a break.
She needed a break. she needed a break. Let's be real about it, Sebo. You wasn't easy.
Yeah, she would ship my tail off all across the country to all of her different. She had 8 kids, so I had about 6 or 7 different places to visit. So one of my landing spots just happened to be Nebraska.
Yeah.
Knew nothing. I didn't even know Nebraska existed. But as I came up here and had an opportunity to get to know the lay of the land, I said, you know what, this is a great place.
Yeah.
And what was great about it is coming from a hood where there was lots of crime and drugs. What people don't know is people who live in those areas don't really want to be in those areas.
That's real. That's deep.
95% of the people in those areas don't want to be there.
Yeah.
But for one reason or another, they just don't know how to get out.
Yeah. Let's pause right there because that's a good subject matter right there, because here's the thing, Cless. When you talk about individuals being in situations and circumstances that sometimes are beyond their control, right? This is where sometimes the gang culture evolves, right? Is because a lot of people are stuck on a block or stuck on, a city or an area of a city, and they don't know what they don't know outside of it.
Right.
And it's not because they don't want to know. It's just their products sometimes become of their environment.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing that's when I began to look at, individuals, I would say I'm very blessed too, man, because I had a father, and that's the blessing in itself, because there are a lot of young men that just didn't have another way.
Yeah.
We were blessed that you had another way. You had a family that collectively came together, loved on you, and helped and wanted to see a better view of you. And sometimes I think in my life, Cless, I've looked at my mother, Elaine Strickland, and I've had times where I kind of maybe looked at her situation as a young mother. My parents divorced when I was 6, and maybe put a little fault on her. Like, every son wants to be with mom, type of deal. And then all of a sudden, my dad comes. But now as I gotten older, I understood that it was for my good. It was for the betterment of me. I'm down there in Alabama. I'm out there knocking kids out and fighting in school and getting in trouble and doing all kinds of wild things that probably a young kid would do. And then my father was able to step in and fill the void. And so shout out to the mom, shout out to the single mom, shout out to the fathers. But I was grateful.
Shout out to Matt Strickland.
Matt Strickland, man. You know
Matt Strickland.
You know.
See, you're going in the area where I wanted to ask you about some things.
Talk to me.
Because we started off on Clester, but as I got to Bellevue, I heard about this young man who is extraordinarily out of this world. And as a youngster, we all have our little competitiveness we have going on. But I heard about this young man who just didn't fit the mold. But before we go there, I need you to tell me about your travels in the military and how that childhood, how that background influenced you.
Yeah.
I remember stories about Napoleon Kaufman. A lot of people don't know about Napoleon Kaufman.
Yeah, look him up.
old running back for the Raiders. Went to
out of Lompoc, California. Went to Washington.
Went to Washington. Yeah. Great running back. Played in the NFL for a little while. Was a childhood friend of yours. So you were exposed at an early age around some greatness.
Yeah.
So I want to know, when did you know? When did you know that, man, I might be pretty good at the things that I'm doing? When did you know that? When did it hit you?
So when I was young, I was always a big kid. So I would win a lot of, back in the day, we used to have those field days. If you're an old head, we used to have those field days, right?
Absolutely.
And so we would go class and have those field days, and I would win. I would win all of them. I mean, it was always the blue ribbon for me. It was never the little pink one or the red one. See, and that's another thing about today, right? We can get into this in a sec, but the participation trophies these days, I don't know nothing about that. That stuff was oblivious to me. I don't even think we should be doing that. I think, look, that teaches so many different lessons about life, because you're not always going to win. And I learned that early. So when my mom sent me to my dad's, I was in Great Falls, Montana. In Great Falls, Montana, I would get bullied. You know what I mean? I was they tried to bully me, but I had to stand my ground. You know what I mean?
I'm from
Alabama.
Great Falls, Montana. Listen,
Great
ladies
Falls,
and gentlemen, I'm learning new things tonight too. I did not know that E. Strick used to live in Montana. Didn't
Great
know
Falls,
that.
Man. Great Falls, Montana. Walking through the snow. So people. Harrison's in the building too. Shout out Harrison. Bang bang boogie. What's up, Harrison?
Doing good, man. This
My
is awesome.
man.
I like
glad.
doing weeknights show. We got a lot of good stuff coming in here.
Yes, love it. One of the things I would say is, when people talk about walking through the snow, I had to walk through the snow. Like, there was never a day where school was not going on. So walking through the snow with up to your waist and all of that, yes, sir. I had to do that, man, fully bodied up. But then we ended up moving to California. And when I got to California, class, it was that was where a lot was born. Then, you know, I played like on Bantam League football. I shouldn't have been. I was way too good and I was way too big. So literally we dominated, won the Super Bowl. So, you know, you have Bantam, you have Junior 1, you have Junior 2, and then you have seniors, right? We won the championship and they were like, there's no way this kid can play Junior 1. I skipped Junior 1 and played with the big boys that were older than me, right? And did very well. Laying woo. You know,
people don't know.
They don't know about the woo.
They don't.
Laying woo.
We'll explain the woo later.
Yeah, we'll get to the woo. And ended up getting to the senior level, and that's kind of where I knew talented wise in football, it was my best sport. But then as I played basketball as a 4th and 5th grader, 4th grade, I was the MVP of the league. So the 4th and 5th grade, I was the MVP of the league. My dad, and this is where Matthew Strickland, my dad, was just so great, because he would always look beyond the part and try to challenge me, take me to another challenge. So he's like, no, listen, he went and talked to the people. He said, my son, if he plays in this next league, it'll be too easy. He moved me to the level above the 6th and 7th grade league.
Side note, a lot of people don't know that Erick Strickland didn't get bigger than Matt Strickland to about his senior year in high school, because Matt Strickland was thick.
Yeah, Matt Strickland was definitely
strong,
a big cock diesel.
Yes, sir.
big
anyway,
dude.
didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
I had to give you that side note, because as a young man, sometimes you need that look. You know, sometimes that power, that look got your attention.
Yeah.
Got your respect.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a little bit different dealing with mom than dealing with dad.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And the issue with that too is you being a father to sons who are now playing at the next levels above, which will, as we get back to you, I know you'll share. But my dad was one of those dads, and shout out to all y'all dads out here that have a similar, mental about
handling business.
My dad, I felt, was more stringent on me than anyone else. Like, I felt like I was competing, going after, fighting hard for the position or for the win as anybody else. But it was like the others, he wasn't challenging in the same way that he would challenge me. I get hit upside the head and I'm like, dang, I thought I did the right thing. It was like extra challenge on me. And so when my dad moved me up to that 2nd league, man, and I was the MVP of that league as a 5th grader, that's when I knew. That's when I knew it was real.
I like it.
Yeah.
I had a totally different experience than you, my friend.
Break it down.
Something that you didn't know.
Talk to me.
So as I moved to Memphis, Tennessee with my brothers, we had kind of a Valley girl accent. You know, we had a very LA, California accent going to the South. Very proper speaking. And we're around the y'alls and the fitting tubes and the Frigidaires and the mains.
Dang, hey, what's up, Maine? Yeah.
If y'all know Memphis, y'all know Maine.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, if you watch the movie.
Yeah.
Hustle and Flow.
Hustle and Flow.
If you watch the movie Hustle and Flow, you would know about the Maine, because Terrence Howard was definitely Memphis.
It'll give you a snippet of the life of Memphis. But anyway, same as you. You know, when you implant it into a new world, because a lot of people don't even realize, as African Americans, as Blacks, there could be a class system there. There could be a differentiating systems there. You know, you got suburban, you got middle class, you got poor. You know, my grandmother was probably more on the poor. You know, we did not, but I didn't know. We didn't know. Nobody knew. I knew I had a roof over my head, had food in my stomach, and I had clothes. And my brothers were just old enough where they couldn't pass me down. So I had my own shoes, socks, and all that. But anyway, my influence was more peer related because I didn't have that father
figure.
I didn't have a father figure. And my grandmother wasn't into sports.
Yeah.
So when I'm out in the neighborhood, I'm just watching what everybody else is doing. And I'm jumping in and trying to learn. Everybody know the game pick up and run.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We
Another
called
name.
it something else. we probably couldn't say what
we won't call
it.
it that name, but we call it also pick up and run.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I got good at football.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up and run.
Shaking and baking, and you had to, otherwise you get smeared.
You get smeared.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
and those are the days when you didn't go inside. Like if kids today, they're inside on PlayStations and they don't leave the house. And we literally was outside until the lights came on. And look, don't come in here asking for no water. Go to the faucet. Yeah, that's the type of stuff we was on. You had to hit the faucet.
Yeah.
And we was drinking and sweating. And look, people talk about baseball because I actually was really good at baseball, but the spawn of my baseball stuff started in the like the circle, because we had circles.
Yeah.
So we would get outside and play circles. And listen, we played with a tennis ball or a little racket ball, and we played with a stick. So we didn't even have bats. So think about trying to hit a little tennis ball with a little stick. How good you had to really be to do that. And so those are some of the things and the lessons you learn in the street. One background thing, Clester, that most people don't know is here's how life kind of works its way out throughout your career. And as you get older, you begin to reflect and you can look back at it. Because when I was growing up in the South, living at my grandmother's house, my grandmother had a nice, just a small 3-bedroom house. It was green, had a fence around it, probably about an acre or two. We had pecan trees, pear trees, apple trees. We had all this stuff in our backyard, right? You look out over or outside of the fence, right next door, projects. So the project kids looked at me as if
you was rich.
I was rich. They looked at me like I was doing something. I'm like, wait a second. So guess what? I always got tested.
Yes.
I had to fight. I had to scrap. We had a thing called bust the calves. You had to learn how to bust the calves.
Because you lived in the house.
I lived in the house.
That's right.
And so
rich.
So when I look at my life and look at the growth and the projection of my life has always been that. It looks like I'm outside because being the son of a military officer, you're in kind of that middle class road, but you ain't really like living like that, but until now, he becomes a lieutenant colonel, but then everybody in the hood is looking at you like you just a suburb.
That's right.
You soft.
Yeah, you soft.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I always had to deal with that.
Well, I didn't have to deal with that, my friend. Because my confidence honestly did not grow until I made it to Nebraska.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Because I was in the hood playing with older kids.
Mm-hmm.
And these were guys that I looked up to.
Yeah.
I mean, from a young age all the way up, just all the guys were older than me, bigger, stronger. And I finally get up to Nebraska and start to play against, kids my own age. And I'm starting to mature, get bigger. And I'm like, mentally, I'm going, y'all soft.
Because let's pause on that because we got to take a quick break. We're going to come back and finish that story. We'll be right back.
I got lots
right here, WTF.
We right here.
We here. We in the building. Just learning a little bit about who we are, and then we'll get into some other topic matter as we get through today as well as next week. But you're on WTF. We talk facts. We'll be right back. Message.
Babe,
Pack your bags. We're going to Vegas.
Vegas?
We just got the estimate from the wedding caterer, and we're going to have to elope.
Actually, Members Owned Credit Union is offering no-fee home equity lines of credit. We can borrow what we need with equity from the house.
Wait, so we can keep the bacon-wrapped dates for the cocktail hour?
We can keep the bacon-wrapped dates. From wedding bells to trekking the globe and everything in between, capture your dreams your way with a no-fee Members Owned Credit Union home equity line of credit. Learn more at membersownedheloc.org. Limitations may apply. Equal housing lender.
The Ticket Water Cooler.
Keisei Tamanaga is returning to Nebraska. It just elevates the ceiling of what Nebraska basketball can be this upcoming year. This feels good. Nebraska basketball feels good going in.
When you think of Keisei Tominagi, you think of threes, right? And obviously, he shot 40% from three-point range this last season. Just a highlight waiting to happen with him. And I believe that his cuts off the ball on the offensive end and his ability to finish quickly, he just catches it and finishes it all in one motion. I think that's going to be extremely important for him.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I always had to be so good, no one could ignore me. Carve my path with data and drive. But some people only see who I am on paper. The paper ceiling. The limitations from degree screens to stereotypes that are holding back over 70 million stars. Workers skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time for skills to speak for themselves. Find resources for breaking through barriers at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
The Drive with AD and Raph.
Was this season a stepping stone or a stone in the shin?
Want to think that it's a stepping stone, but unfortunately, I think the people that we're going to lose are going to be back in the same situation. I think again next year, you're going to have to find a few hitters and you're going to have to find some pitching. So unfortunately, I think it's not a stepping stone.
You have to replace your first baseman, your second baseman, your shortstop, your center fielder, your Friday night starting pitcher, your Saturday night starting pitcher, 3 quality relievers, your backup third baseman, backup catcher, and backup infielder.
Weekdays from 8 to 10 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Clester.
And we're back. We appreciate everybody who decides they want to come in and listen to us. Subscribe. We want you to also just listen. We got something to say. We got facts to talk about. We got love to give. We got great energy. We want to give you something that you ain't never had before. We're going to take you into the mind of people who have been there, done that. And before we left off, we were talking about Clester Johnson's influences and how it wasn't necessarily a father. We talked about how my mom passed away, and I had lots of peers in the neighborhood. Wasn't always necessarily very good, but I had a very strict grandmother who kind of balanced things out for me. She really made sure the streets didn't get a hold of me like it could have, because man, it could have been ugly.
Yeah, it's amazing how the situations could change just so quickly depending on where you've been and where you stopped or where you.
It's called a healthy fear. A lot of kids don't have that today. I had a healthy fear of my grandmother because back then you could get the strap. Today it's a little bit different when it comes to that. You know, CPS might be knocking at your door. So we don't want to do that. We don't encourage anybody to beat their children.
I ain't gonna lie, I needed it. Yeah, you know, you say what you will about it. I needed. I was hard-headed.
Well,
I was a hard-headed one.
You know what? I think that a lot of us go through that phase,
Yeah.
but it's how you come out on the other side.
Yeah.
And, you know, as you look through your life, we have our ups and downs, but, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
Yeah.
So again, as I got to Nebraska, my mentality was a lot different. Obviously, I'm now in a suburban surrounding. So it's funny that you talked about how people tested you.
Yeah.
Because they thought that you were soft. That's right.
Yeah.
Softer than cottonelle.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my issue. My issue was how I looked at people. Now I'm looking at everybody around me as food, you know? And that spurred my mentality, and it allowed me to become who I am as an athlete, because I had something to fall back on. Matter of fact, it's funny. I'm just talking to an old friend of mine just 2 days ago that I grew up with. I mean, this dude was huge. I mean, in 8th, 9th grade, he's 6'3", 6'4", but didn't have the same opportunity as I did. I come to Bellevue, Nebraska, where the getting was good. You had a lot of support. You had a lot of family support. You had teachers who cared about you.
Yeah.
School system was really good. And I told my friend Brian, I said, if I could have brought 4 or 5 guys up here with me, guys who dominated in the neighborhood, we'd have won at Bellevue West. We didn't want to stay at championship.
Man,
we didn't want to stay
we just needed a few more dogs. And you know, when you talk about that, like, I'm reminded of how, like, my pops took me to the base gym, right?
Oh yeah.
So my pops would take me to the base gym as a 12-year-old man.
Explain to them what the base gym is.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know what that is.
So the base gym, on every Air Force base, they would have a gym. They always had weight rooms. It had basketball courts, tennis courts. Yeah, it had pretty much everything that you would have, like at a Genesis or at a Lifetime Fitness or anything like that. But there were grown men, Air Force men that were, good athletes in their own right, just happened to choose to go to the Air Force. And my dad brought me in as a 12-year-old, and he was like, I'd be out there playing, and he'd be like, my son's gonna play. And they'd be like, no, we ain't doing that. And so my dad let me get beat up. Like he let me, have to take the fight and stand up for myself. And guys see me now. I mean, even guys that I used to remember you at the base gym, You know, when you was a young man, you was in there getting buckets as a young man. Like you was actually fighting and scrapping. But that was the lesson. So, you know, when people talk about and they see me in the physicality and the way that I played at the next level here at the University of Nebraska, they wonder where that came from. That dog, I have a bulldog tattoo on my left shoulder. That's where it came from.
Yeah.
That's where it came from.
I got to, you know, and there's many stories we can go from Erick being, you know, he had talked about how he was bigger than everyone. And with that, and obviously you were a standout, but also you have jealousy amongst your peers that you had to deal with also.
Yeah.
We can cover that another day, but Erick had some things he was dealing with just because he was just monstrously bigger than everybody, abnormally.
Check his birth certificate. I'm only 14.
That's right. That's right. But it's funny because you went to the rival junior high, Mission. I go to Logan. I'm a
pause. We went here. Listen, I'm over at Mission Junior High. Hey, Harrison, I'm in Mission Junior High. I'm walking around there with my head up like, yeah, I'm the guy in Bellevue. Oh, wait, no, I don't know. There's a guy over there in Logan named Clester Johnson. Clester Johnson? Who? Let me go over and see. I literally told my dad, drop me off at Logan. Because Logan was playing Mission, and Mission was garbage. Like, us in the 7th grade, we used to beat the 8th grade and the 9th grade team as a night. We used to beat them, right? So I'm over there watching this guy run circles around everybody on the field. And I'm like, wait a minute now. Yeah, that guy is. Yeah. I used to call him Bow-Legged Lou.
Yeah. But here's what people don't know. Back in Bellevue, freshmen were not in the high school.
Yeah.
So I did get approached by each high school trying to figure out where I was going to go. But I was already sold on where I was going because I had a cousin who was a year older than me, already put in work. But the crazy thing was, as I'm working my way through Logan and discovering that, you know what, I might be okay. You know, like I'm telling you, as a freshman is really when I really broke out.
Yeah.
That's when I broke out because I told you my mentality. I'm like, I'm used to playing against guys who are way rougher and tougher. And I don't know if it was more of the confidence that was in me that and the ability and power that I already had, and it just came out. Or, you know, did I just develop? I mean, there's things that I still can't explain about how I developed in Bellevue, but part of it was coming from Memphis, which was a rougher, tougher area, and then having an older cousin who I had to compete with, had 2 older brothers that I competed with. All that played a huge part. And then as I looked around the city, just like you, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be the best. So freshmen were not able to be in the high schools.
We're not going. We're going to go there. But I need to ask you this question because this is deep.
Because you know where I was about to go.
I know where you're about to go, and I'm gonna let you take it.
Okay.
But I wanted to say, because this is a question I have, what was it, other than the factor of wanting to dominate, what was it about your time there? Because you played the quarterback position. Now that was unusual even at that time to play the quarterback position. But you were playing the quarterback position, and what was it? How did you learn? How did you like you didn't really have anything to draw off of? Like, who was it that really kind of showed you the ropes outside of you observing? Or was the lessons you learned in Memphis the observation part of it, part of that process?
Well, number one, I felt I had grit and determination. I wasn't ever going to quit. I had the mentality that I'm going to compete or you're going to kill me.
That's something that's a rarity these days.
That's just how I was. Matter of fact, I probably could have been a boxer because, you know, obviously that's a skill level that you have to develop, but I was willing to go all the way there.
Mm-hmm.
And David Carter is a name that is a blast from the past, but he was our junior high quarterback. But I let him know that when we go to high school, I'm going to play quarterback because my cousin was a running back.
Yes.
And he was really good.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm not going to sit behind my cousin for a few years.
No.
I'm going to play quarterback. And I don't know how David felt about it, but I let it be known.
Mm-hmm.
And that summer, Coach Feynman, who was our high school coach, really encouraged me to come up every day, learn the playbook. And man, I was at the high school every single day.
Wow.
Learning the playbook, going out and throwing the ball, lifting weights on the base.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go and lift weights because we didn't have PlayStation.
No.
We didn't have Atari.
No.
We didn't have none of that.
Nintendos, no.
So we was trying to find a way to be out of the house because we didn't want to be in the house.
Facts. Facts.
There was no being in the house. So as a youth, we were finding things to do, lifting weights, going to the youth center, going to the swimming pool, going to the movie theater, going to little discos on Friday night.
We used to pop lock at the
absolutely
at the youth. Yeah.
Absolutely. Doing the worm, doing the snake.
Yeah.
People that moonwalk. I mean, I thought I was Michael Jackson for a minute. I still but anyway, just as you mentioned, it's just a lot of fun as a youth. When I look back, we really kind of developed without having trainers. We didn't have certain areas that we could go to hone our skills. We just sort of honed them
on your own
with
what you had, with what you had to work with.
What we had to work with.
I love it. I love it. What we're going to do is we're going to take one more break before we finish out the hour. And we're going to let Clester get to the finish of that story about the ninth grade. I put a pause on. But that's okay. Come back. WTF. We talk facts. Come back and join us right after this next break.
Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez-Clary.
You mentioned the Auburn Regional between Penn and Southern Miss. How many fans? Plainsman Park seats 4,096.
I get 1,200.
1,200. I'm going to take the over slightly.
I don't know how well either one of these fan bases travel.
You can't imagine that Penn travels all that well.
I don't. And there's parents.
There's not 1,200 of them.
No, there's
not
not
1,200 parents.
Weekdays from 1 to 2 on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People Seating Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids. First, I hold my hands out like they're on a steering wheel. Then I look over my shoulder. Next, I put it in reverse. Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Paid for by the CDC, sponsored by Nebraska DHHS, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Papa, why can't we telegraph while riding a horse?
Son, there ain't no one to blame but Jeffro. He was riding old Betsy the Stallion, tip-tapping away at his telegraph, when blam, ran right into the side of the saloon.
Well, if Jeffro can't do it, neither should you. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back to We Talk Facts on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here are your hosts, Strick and Clester.
Yeah, you know what it is. We Talk Facts. WTF. Back once again. Clester Johnson, you was finishing up a thought. I want to make sure you continue that thought. Man, we appreciate you guys for joining us on the first show today. This is just a meet and greet session today. We're going to get into some topics. I mean, don't get it twisted. You know, we're going to definitely get into some deep conversations on some wonderful topics, but we want you to know who we are. We want you to know how this all came to be, because you may hear us sometimes. Clester used to jump on the show and come and join us, and you kind of hear some of those thoughts, but we wanted you to hear a little bit more about the us and how we all came to be.
I just want to add to some of the stuff you were saying. I'm trying my best not to Incredible Hulk this moment, bust out my shirt, Lou Ferrigno.
Get naked and not ashamed.
I'm going to ease into the show just like Strick said. There's so much more information we would like to disseminate amongst the crowd. And I think you're really going to enjoy it. So again, please subscribe and tune in every Tuesday.
Hit that notification bell
that
so
notification
that you know when we
button.
pop on.
Let everybody know. Let us know that you're hearing us. And I would also say, if you got questions, if you got questions,
Sauter Heyman text line is always open. 402-464-5685. You can text us as well.
Yes,
as you can hit us on the Honda Lincoln hotline. We can take questions at some times. We'll definitely get into that as well.
Yeah, feel free. So, I want to pick back up to Bellevue. It's crazy because we haven't really got to high school.
We ain't even got there yet.
And within high school and junior high, there were still all these little crazy stories, and we don't want to get into all that yet. But how I heard about this young man over at Mission Junior High, 8th grade phenom, I kept hearing about. I'm like, who is this guy? Erick Strickland, right?
I saw you, but you didn't see me yet.
So the crazy thing is, I'm just going to move forward 1 year. Now I'm a sophomore. Erick is a freshman. I'm the starting quarterback at Bellevue West.
Yeah.
Freshmen are not at the high school yet. It's 10 through 12. And this guy is so good that they're bringing him up to the high school on a special bus so he can compete in basketball.
It wasn't a short bus. I do have a little bit of intellect, so don't.
And if you want to explain to them this whole transportation of the bus, why did they have to transport you on a bus from the junior high to the high school?
Yeah, a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was still attending school. So I had to attend school, and they created my schedule to where my last hour was going to be like a study hall or something of that nature, which gave me the time. They would send a special bus that would actually pick me up and transport me over to the high school where I would join the varsity basketball team and begin to practice. And guys like Greg Kuntz was there, Greg French, Fred Ward was the guy of that time. He was that guy.
Some great players.
Yeah.
Now, I want to rewind a little bit because I really feel like we missed a very important part of this whole discussion in sports and how we came up. I want to ask you about your inspiration. Okay. I want to ask you about what inspired you. Something inspired you to go, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. Whether it was football, basketball, baseball. If you look back, what was it that said to yourself? There's something within you that said, I want to be like that, or I want to help them, or it was something, Eric.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you.
It's crazy. A lot of times I talk about certain things that I've actually done in my life. Like some of the crazy stuff that I've done is as a young man in high school, I was looking at collective bargaining agreements, and that's crazy in itself,
high school?
right? In high school, right? I was really trying to figure out what the next level is. But really what inspired that, man, is I literally had a dream. And I had a dream that I was going to play. Literally, it was so vivid. It was like I was there. I was playing in the NBA or in the NFL. I actually had a dream. So it inspired me to continue to be the best of what I could be. I was a natural athlete, so I didn't hit the weights like that. I mean, I was 6'3", 190 at high school. And so I was naturally strong, naturally built.
Extraordinarily big.
Never played the wide receiver position. I was always a running back or something of that nature. So what I'm sure Clester
Big Derrick Henry looking running back.
I'm sure what Clester would be happy about is that I was a young man that had extreme hands. Like if Clester threw the ball in my path, if it was anywhere in the area, he could rely and know that it was caught.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And God bless you, young man, because not only was he All-State as a sophomore, he made me All-State also, just because I knew he was a very reliable source. And what really hurt my heart was they were only letting 8 teams in the playoffs back when we were in high school. And right about 4 or 5 years after we got out of high school, they let everybody in.
Everybody can get in.
We had some great teams, some 7-2 teams. But anyway, I don't want to get into all that.
That was a frustrating part of our.
I still when I see Stu Pospisil today, I still get on his neck about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, inspiration for me.
Yeah.
I would say my grandmother. My
grandmother.
grandmother.
You wanted it for her.
I saw these stories of guys who quote unquote made it and was able to go back and provide, a new home for grandma. And I just really wanted to repay her for taking us in. Because she didn't have to.
She didn't have to do it.
She didn't have to do that
Yeah.
because she had already
That's
raised 8 kids, right?
Mhm.
So I was inspired by her because she was, like I said, I understood the fear and everything as I got older. I understood why she was the way she was because she did not want me to fall to the streets. And so, that being said, I remember when I was in college, I used to always write her name on me somewhere. Her and my mom, I would write their name somewhere on my body so that when I played the game, I was playing for somebody. I was playing for her. I was playing for them. And so, and as I grew and got a little older, I got more inspirations. We're not just inspired by one person. There's lots of things that are added on. So.
Yeah. Wow. Just a little introductory to what E. Strick and Sebo, Clester Johnson, where we came from, how we started, and there's so much more. This is only the beginning.
Yes.
This is only the starting point, and we thank you for tapping in on the first night of what WTF is and is going to be. We talk facts. It's going to be everything sports. It's going to be everything life. It's going to be everything about just the growth of what we've learned, what we've acquired, what we've seen, and we're going to help you to be able to understand where that journey come from.
I would also add that, a lot of us have been through the same thing. And I'm sure there are some things that we're going to say that you're going to be able to identify with, agree with, and maybe not agree with. But we're happy to have you.
There it is. We're out of here. We'll see you next Tuesday.